William Cutolo, June 6, 1949, May 26, 1999, also known as Billy Fingers and Wild Bill, was a Brooklyn mobster in the Colombo crime family who committed several murders and was heavily involved in labor racketeering. Cutolo played a key role in the 1991–1993 Colombo War. Biography. William Cutolo, christened Guglielmo Cutolo, was born in Potenza in Basilicata, Italy. William Sr. was the brother of Gertrude, Barbara, and Geraldine Cutolo. He was related to Italian Camorra mob boss Raffaele Cutolo. William Cutolo had 3 daughters and a son named William Jr. to previous wife Marguerite Butero. In 1990, Cutolo had his 3rd daughter, Dana, with his wife Betty Ann Fox, from Brooklyn. William Jr. followed his father into illegal gambling and loan sharking and was eventually convicted of extortion and racketeering. Cutolo was also involved with several charities. He was a fundraising chairman and board member for the National Leukemia Research Association in Garden City, New York. Cutolo sat on the Medical Advisory Committee as chairman of Team Leukemia, and was associated with the New York chapter of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in Rye Brook, New York. He helped raise $400,000 for Local 204 as well as many other locals over the years. In 1988, Cutolo was honored as the National Leukemia Association's Man of the Year. Cutolo paid for their holiday parties and dressed up every year as Santa Claus for the National Children's Leukemia Association in Borough Park, Brooklyn, as his son, William Jr., handed out gifts and posed for pictures with the stricken children. Cutolo rose up the ranks of the Colombo family during the late 1980s under acting boss Victor Arena. Originally a soldier in Captain Pasquale Amato's crew, Cutolo soon became one of the family's more powerful leaders. Cutolo was successful because he made much money and commanded a crew of hitmen. Cutolo earned the nickname Billy Fingers because he was missing one finger and another one was mutilated due to an occupational accident at a hamburger store. In 1989, Cutolo earned his nickname Wild Bill after beating a man with a baseball bat. Cutolo was fond of cowboy boots and frequently wore a large brown 10-gallon hat. He operated Bill's Friendly Bocce Social Club in the Bath Beach section of Brooklyn as his headquarters. Cutolo was the best man at mobster John Jackie DeRoss's wedding, the man who would eventually participate in his murder. Unyielding in negotiations and harsh with his crew members, Cutolo made no secret of his ambition to become boss of the Colombo family. Labor racketeer. During the 1980s, Cutolo became the president and business agent for Teamsters Union Local 861 in New York. However, in 1990, Cutolo resigned his positions the day before the Teamsters Union was planning to expel him for organized crime ties. His crew included Joseph Petillo, Dominic Dionisio, Michael Spataro, Ralph Guccione, Vincent Chicky DiMartino, Michael Donato and his son William Cutolo Jr. Cutolo also gained control of District Council DC 37, a local of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME. Cutolo and his close friend mobster Thomas DiNardo used Council 37 to steer jobs to Colombo associates and spending towards Colombo-controlled vendors and resorts. Cutolo was not afraid to use intimidation to maintain power. In 1990, Cutolo sent thugs to beat up 72-year-old Vincent Parisi, the head of a laborers' union local with colon cancer. During a meeting several days earlier, Parisi had cursed at Cutolo and thrown a paper ball at his face. In 1998, New York City newspapers reported on links between Council 37 and the National Leukemia Research Foundation, Cutolo's favored charity. Investigators question whether cash donations from union officials were actually being received by the foundation. During the 1990s, Cutolo also became vice president of the new Local 400 of the Industrial and Production Workers Union, a city workers' union. He was later accused of using the union's name to receive money from companies seeking to avoid union organizers. Businessman Cutolo also extorted money from companies such as Embassy Terrace, a Brooklyn caterer. The company was in severe financial trouble when it approached Cutolo for help. In return his investment, Cutolo gained control over the enterprise. Cutolo also controlled several restaurants and nightclubs in New York and Miami, Florida. In 1998, Cutolo and mobster Vincent Palermo allegedly formed a partnership with German corporation Siemens AG behind dummy investors on a cell phone deal in Russia. Persico-Orena-Colombo War in 1991, Cutolo became enmeshed in a bloody war for control of the Colombo family. Acting boss Victor Orena had challenged Carmine Persico, still in prison, on the naming of his son Alphonse Persico as acting boss. Cutolo was one of Orena's strongest allies. On June 21, 1991, the bloodshed started with an unsuccessful assassination attempt by Persico on Orena. On November 18, 1991, in response to the Orena attack, Cutolo sent a team to ambush Persico loyalist Gregory Scarpa as he was driving with his daughter and granddaughter. Scarpa and his family managed to escape harm. 5 days after the Scarpa hit, Cutolo led a hit team that killed Persico loyalist Henry Smurra outside a Brooklyn donut shop. In another incident, Cutolo was driving away from a Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, social club when he spotted Persico loyalist Joel Kakis. The two men traded shots on the street, wounding Kakis. After Orena's imprisonment in 1992, the Colombo War ended in October 1993 with a Persico victory after the murder of Orena Captain Joseph Scopo. Investigators concluded that Cutolo was personally responsible for 3 of the 12 murders committed during this conflict. To punish Cutolo for his support of Orena, Carmine Persico temporarily demoted him from capo to soldier. Carmine Persico was also angry that Cutolo had called him a rat for admitting the existence of the Cosa Nostra at the 1985 Mafia Commission trial. Despite his demotion, Cutolo eventually reconciled with Persico after the war, or so he thought. The family had been decimated, but the Mafia Commission would not allow the induction of new members until the two warring factions made peace. In early 1993, Cutolo and 6 of his crew members were arrested and held without bail on racketeering and murder charges from the Colombo War. In September 1994, they went on trial, but were all acquitted. The main reason for the verdict was just revealed information about Scarpa's role as an informant for the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI). Disappearance in early 1999, after Alphonse Persico was released from prison, Carmine Persico promoted Cutolo to underboss as a peace gesture. However, the situation changed when Alphonse Persico was sentenced to prison in Florida on a gun possession charge. The Persicos and Taras were afraid that Cutolo would seize control of the family in Alphonse Persico's absence and decided to murder Cutolo. On May 26, 1999, Alphonse Persico summoned Cutolo to a meeting. Cutolo's mechanic dropped him off in a Bayside park to meet with Persico. After Cutolo arrived at the park, Thomas Giaoli, Dino Saraceno, and Dino Calabro allegedly transported Cutolo to the basement of Saraceno's house, where they murdered him. Giaoli then allegedly buried Cutolo at an industrial park in Farmingdale, New York. A few years later, Gambino Captain Mikey Scars de Leonardo testified that when he arrived at this meeting, Alphonse Persico and Taras told him that Cutolo was gone. The day after the Cutolo murder, Taras unsuccessfully ransacked Cutolo's home office for Cutolo's loan sharking records and a $1.5 million cash stash, hidden in a stove vent. During that visit and succeeding ones, Taras warned Cutolo's family not to make any statements to police that linked Persico or the Colombo family to the shooting. Taras became the new underboss. In 2001, Cutolo's family formally joined the Witness Protection Program. William Jr. would be removed from the program in 2006 due to an extortion conviction. In a 2002 hearing in surrogate court, a judge pronounced Cutolo to be legally dead. Murder trials. In 2004, Alphonse Persico and Taras were indicted for conspiring to murder Cutolo. However, on November 4, 2004, the first trial ended as a mistrial because the jury deadlocked over a case with just circumstantial evidence and no body. On November 7, 2007, the second trial began. On December 28, 2007, Persico and Taras were convicted of Cutolo's murder. The evidence in the second trial now included undercover recordings of Persico and Taras made by William Jr. for the FBI, as well as crucial testimony by William Sr.'s wife Peggy. In December 2008, Gaili, Saraceno, and Calabro were also indicted in the Cutolo murder. On February 27, 2009, Persico and Taras were sentenced to life imprisonment for the Cutolo murder. In February 2010, Dino Calabro became a government witness. It is likely that he will testify against Gaoli and Saraceno in the Cutolo murder trial. Recovery of body. In October 2008, acting on an informant's information, federal agents started searching a field in East Farmingdale, New York. They soon unearthed the body of a man wrapped in a blue tarpaulin. The man had wearing Italian loafers. A forensic dentist later confirmed that the body was that of William Cutolo Sr. In 2008, 9 years after his murder, Cutolo was interred at the Cemetery of the Resurrection, Staten Island. References. Further reading: Capesi, Jerry. The Complete Idiot's Guide to the Mafia. Indianapolis. Alpha Books, 2002. ISBN 0-02-864225-2. Fitch, Robert. Solidarity for Sale: How Corruption Destroyed the Labor Movement and Undermined America's Promise. New York: Public Affairs, 2006. ISBN 1-891620-72-X. Rob Selwyn. 5 Families: The Rise, Decline, and Resurgence of America's Most Powerful Mafia Empires. New York: St. Martin Press, 2005. ISBN 0-312-30094-8. Willis, Clint, ed. Mob: Stories of Death and Betrayal from Organized Crime. New York: Thunder's Mouth Press, 2001. ISBN 1-56025-324-X. External links: http://lukeford.net/blog/question P9125